Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Boleyn Lounge, and thanks for your patience for the lack of content over the last few weeks. For those of you who didn't see my post, I'll explain briefly that the missus and I have recently bought a narrowboat, so we've been spending a bit of time getting a few things sorted out and spending a bit of time there enjoying that. And the internet connection's not really strong enough to support a live stream, I don't think. But we're going to be spending a bit more time there, so I might try it one week and see if we can get a show out to you from there. But that explanation over and done with. Welcome to all of you. Thanks for joining me, and let's talk about Sunday's game. Started off with terrible news, Billy Bonds. I heard it on the train on the way into the game, and well, it really upset me. I'll be honest. I got a little bit emotional. I had to wipe a tear or two away from my eye. So much so that I had to pop into M&S at Stratford and buy a pack of tissues to get rid of my snivel snot. And I'll go on to the atmosphere in the stadium later on, but I'll just touch on a few things in the game. Obviously, it's a very, very disappointing result because I think Liverpool were there for the taking. I don't think they were particularly good. I will say I really enjoyed the first half, but I think it was more to do with the weak efforts, I feel, overall, to pay tribute to Billy Bonds. But myself, a few others around me, and other pockets around the stadium certainly did their best, especially in that first half. So I enjoyed it on that count. And really, in summation of the first half, it was a pretty even, competitive game. Looked like two poor teams, and that's exactly what it is. I mean, we're a pretty poor team at the moment, and so are Liverpool, and it looked just like that. A mistake from Juff gave them an opening. A mistake from Wan-Bissaka gave them an opening. And other than that, I think they had a decent chance from Isak that they carved out, and they didn't do very much. And we kind of tried to go at them, I felt, a little bit in the first half. And Bissaka was getting down the right-hand side. Juff was getting down the left-hand side. But we just didn't really get any quality into the box. I thought Mavropanos had a really good chance to score from Potts' corner, and it looked to me, he was right in front of me, it looked to me like he just missed the header. You guys had the benefit of replays, and one thing or another might be able to correct me on that, but I really felt that he should have scored, and there was no doubt about a header that he missed later in the game, but by then it kind of didn't matter. Second half, stadium I thought was really flat. We didn't really lay a glove on them. I was absolutely furious when we conceded to them. I really didn't think they deserved it. I mean, if it's a really nice finish from Isak, he's took his chance well, but he just shouldn't be given that space, and he shouldn't get that opportunity. Another poor header from Mavropanos, really should do better there. But I think we should recover a little bit better as well. Isak just sort of stands still, finds himself in loads of room, ball comes to him and he tucks it in, and I give the seat in front of me a good whack, and my toe's still feeling it now. I've been sore for a few days. So that was my stupid fault, but that was just my frustration coming, because I really, really felt Liverpool did not deserve a goal there. I don't think we did. I don't think either team deserved it. It had 0-0 written all over it, apart from the mistakes. Obviously, I'll go on to talk about Paqueta, and I'm quite pleased that I didn't come on like some in the immediate aftermath of that, because it's just ridiculous behaviour. But and the referee was absolutely awful. I agree. I can see Paqueta and everyone else's frustrations. The crowd were definitely frustrated at him. Early doors, Jiff got literally pushed over, no free kick. Jiff clears the ball and he gets clattered late, no yellow card. Magassa gets booked for what looked like a good tackle to me, picks up a booking. And it kind of summed up the standard of the refereeing. But with the Paqueta thing, I don't think the referee actually did that badly. Maybe the booking for just waving his arm in the air is a little bit soft. But the way Paqueta goes on and on and on, I don't think he has much choice but to send him off. I've seen a few videos since and um, sort of questioning, as is almost every week, Bowen's captaincy, and get involved in the chat because I'm sure we'll come along to chat about that when we get into the comments. But we seemed to have no urgency once we went a goal down. Even the possession we had, we just seemed to play it along the halfway line amongst our centre halves. No urgency, no desire to try and craft an opening. That was disappointing. Bowen misses his chance at the end. I think it would have been a great goal. Paqueta tries to get a worldie. I don't think he's ever scoring that. And Mavropanos misses his header in the end, and that's 2-0. Very, very disappointing. Like many others, I feel like Liverpool were there for the taking. Everyone else is giving them a fucking hiding, except us. We charitable West Ham give Isaac their goal and them their 3 points, put them back on track. I'm sure, like me, most of you are really, or all of you are really, really disappointed. I'm going to come to the chat now, get to your comments, say good evening to you all. Leslie's in. He says good evening, evening Leslie. Hope you're well, mate. And he goes on to say the only positive from Sunday's game was the best performance out of our centre backs this season, and Mavra and Toddy have no history of playing together. So hopefully they can build a good partnership. Yeah, I mean, I think we can. Mavropanos made a couple of errors in that game, and they've kind of led to goals. I don't think the first goal's kind of directly as well. I think he plays a part in it. Second goal, he's got to clear that. But I mean, I think we should cut him a little bit of slack. Really, historically, we're going on him on that. But he's been out for a while. His first game back. I thought I agree with you about Todibo. I think he seems to be growing and growing and growing. I would say there were more positives from Sunday's game as well. I was quite impressed with Magassa as well and his performance. Fernandez looks like he's really starting to settle in now. His ball through to Callum Wilson was brilliant, I thought. And Freddie Potts, I don't think he had the greatest game, but I don't really think he did very much wrong. Callum Wilson was pretty industrious, didn't have much to feed off of. Like I say, the crosses coming in weren't too good. Juve had a pretty poor game. Wan-Bissaka showed his tendency to lose concentration here and there. Generally got away with it though. And as he says, King Billy Bonds, West Ham have lost its heart, a true icon, absolute icon. Like I say, it really, really upset me on the train on the way in. Good evening to whoever you are. I'm fortunate that Tony's just come into the green room, so I'll bring him on. Aces says, good evening and rest in peace to Billy Bonds. And let me just bring Tony in from Hammers Football TV. Thanks for joining me, Tony. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, good, mate. Sorry I wasn't near straight off on that, but I hope everything's all right for you, mate.
Yeah, no problem. I just gave a quick sort of summary on the game, not too much to go over unless anything you particularly want to bring in. I haven't really spoke about the Paqueta incident in much detail as yet, so I'm sure you'll have something to say about that. What did you think of the performance in general, mate? Were you wholly disappointed, disgusted, or just felt a little bit let down?
Funny, I mean, I saw because I was actually working as well, but I was watching certain parts of it. But the way I looked at it like this, it was one of those games, 1-0, nick it, and that'll be it. That's how I thought it would have been. But
Yeah, I was kind of saying that I thought it was just 0-0. I don't think either team really did enough to win it, and I was absolutely furious when that first goal went in because I don't think they particularly earned it. I thought we kind of gifted it to them. And second goal was just, Mavs just missed the header. It kind of didn't make any difference apart from the scoreline. So yeah, but I don't think we showed enough urgency in the game to get anything out of it at all. And I'm not
no,
sure that they really did either. So yeah, I was pretty pissed off about that.
yeah,
And the Paqueta thing, like I say, I mean, just absolutely talked himself into it. I thought the referee did all he could not to really send him off. I thought the referee was dreadful in the game. Outside of that, but in that instance, I think he was left with no choice.
yeah. I mean, because when you look at it, funny, I said it to someone. Is it the case of is this his way of kind of I want to get myself out of this club? You've just come back from suspension, and soon after you get yourself back into suspension. It just doesn't seem right. And apparently, the club have turned and said they're going to support him, and maybe it was a mental health issue, and I don't know, man.
I don't doubt the effect that this has probably had on him, right? And I don't doubt that psychologically it probably has damaged him playing under this cloud. But for me, after he conducted himself on that day of all days, after the news in the morning,
Yeah,
to make it all about him, and then to come out with the tweet that he did afterwards, that playing the victim, not an apology to everyone to say I let you all down.
yeah.
Just poor old me getting picked on, right? And I don't have much sympathy for him there, to be honest with you.
Unless he's trying to play devil's advocate, when you think about it, yeah, it worries me because what I've done, kind of thing. Maybe realise in hindsight, obviously with Bill, God rest his soul, gone. Maybe that was his way of saying, if I just sprinkle that in there, maybe people are going to think, okay, Paqueta, really sorry for that. Let's just give you a little bit of a buy just for that reason alone. I mean, I don't buy it myself, I must admit.
The cynic in me said, "Someone have a look at the betting patterns in Brazil."
Funny enough, someone said it to me. It's like he's at it again. He's at it. Is he?
I'm thinking he's thinking he's fucking Teflon now, right? I don't know what was going through his head, and it was Bill's day, wasn't it? And the crowd, I was disappointed actually in the stadium. I sang my heart out for Bill. I was really upset on the train, and Hammer63 just says here, says, "Good evening, Jeff. Nice to see you, mate. Was very emotional after hearing about Billy Bonds, one of my biggest heroes. And he had his photo taken with it after the 75 Cup final and have his autograph." Well, I've got his autograph on a couple of bits around here. I actually had the privilege to meet him after an FA Cup game where we got absolutely spanked at Luton. And I took a young lad to his first game. But do you know what? He let us on the team coach. We gathered all of the autographs from the team. And I got all the Luton Town autographs. So it was a lovely memento for the lad, even though a bad result.
Yeah.
And you couldn't meet a nicer man. And he was an absolute legend. And it was all about him that day, and I just wonder if Paqueta don't like being overshadowed a bit, so he threw a little tantrum. I don't think that's fair. I think that's being a bit unfair to him. I don't really mean that, but I'm that kind of mad at him that you kind of throw them accusations out there.
I think you've got no choice in that respect. You know what I mean? It's when you're doing things like that, especially in, like as you said, someone like he is, with Bill going. It should have been, us commemorating, the legend, the man, the myth as it was, Billy Bonds, but not. It wasn't the Lucas Paqueta show, that's for sure. I totally sound there. Before anything, let me just say hello to all the people in the chat. I'm sorry if I haven't said hello. First of all, good evening, Leslie. Words and pictures. Who else is there? Colin. And
you're ahead of me.
I mean, fun enough. not that long
Well,
ago.
good to see you too, mate. Thanks for coming in.
Not long ago, did the Legends tour at the stadium, and we had Tony Gow showing us around, and he talked about Bill, because obviously we come up to a picture of Billy, and he was saying, like, never met someone as humble as him, and when he found out they was going to name the stand after him, Gow said, like, apparently Bill's gone to him. Why me? And Tony said to him, why you? Don't you realise who you are, kind of thing, to this club, what you've given yourself, and that. The fans adore you, mate. And this is for you. And he said, like, because obviously his wife not that recently passed away, and he was kind of like, what to do. And the kids even said, Dad, you've got to do it. And he said, like, he was just, he still couldn't get over it that the people thought that much of him. He didn't think the fans thought that much of him. That's the thing about it, Jet. That's how humble the man was.
He was adored, wasn't
he? Oh, mate.
He was an absolute hero. He was one of my boyhood heroes. And I watched him play, and then he managed the club. And he played for 20 odd years.
Yeah. 799 games.
It's incredible. He's incredible. I just want to come through, because this does seem to be it seems to be a topic every week, Bowen and the captaincy. But Colin says Bowen has to be blamed for allowing Paqueta to carry on. He is weak. I would take the captaincy from him. I think Paqueta is to blame for carrying on, but I get Colin's sentiment that you look at Declan Rice. I think as a captain steps in and pushes him away. Mark Noble as a captain definitely steps in, pushes him away.
Yeah.
Billy Bonds just tells him, get off the fucking pitch, and you don't argue with it. Bill, do it, right? And it's true, Bowen is kind of just standing there, and Paqueta is going on. And I do think, I don't disagree with the criticisms of Bowen, where people say he hasn't got the temperament, he's not vocal enough. In instances like that, he doesn't take control. I kind of agree with all of those things. But my question forever is, who? So if we take the captaincy off of Bowen now, say, sorry, Jared, going to take the armband off of you, what does that do to him? He's finding it difficult enough at the moment as it is. And who do you give the armband to? And I just don't see a candidate there. I've seen some flashed around, and if you guys in the chat want to put in any suggestions, if you've got any suggestions that you genuinely think should be captain, I'd love to see those suggestions. But if we go through that team, okay, you might give it to Areola because of his seniority and one thing other. I'm not a fan of goalkeepers as captains, and I actually don't think Areola is a captain anyway.
No, there's no captain in him, mate, that's for sure.
Tadebo's kind of been mentioned. Well, this is the guy who didn't want to come here, was rumoured to want to leave in January when he wasn't getting game time. He suddenly turned on a few performances over, 4 games, and had a stand-up fight with one of our managers. I don't know if this is the right character to give the captaincy to. I don't know if he's long served enough at the football club to do it. I've heard Wan-Bissaka be suggested. Well, I think Wan-Bissaka has enough trouble concentrating on his own game at times than worrying about concentrating on other people. And I'm not sure he's a vocal leader either. Who else is there? The only viable option for me is Souček, and I'm not sure if I really want him to be captain. And he's not going to play every week, is he?
No, he's not
going
to play.
He might feature, but he's not going to start every week. So,
yeah,
I don't know. What do you think, Tony? I mean, I've kind of gone on about it, but I mean, what's your opinion on it?
I mean, when you look at it going through the squad, I mean, like, Collins put off sheet to give it to Tadebo or Mavro. I mean, Souček is because when you think about it, as someone who's kind of passionate about playing for the club, you can say it is Suchek in that respect, but he's not featuring, is he? That's the problem. He's on and off more than a yo-yo kind of thing. But when you go through the squad, yeah, I mean, I've always said Bowen, it affected his game. It really affected his game for me. I wouldn't even give it.
Hi, Happy. Thanks for dropping in.
I mean, if you look at it, there's two choices. You're saying about Tadibo and that and squaring up to the manager, then that's someone who's got a bit of balls about him in that respects. But
yeah.
Future captains, you got Fernandez and you got Potts.
Yeah, as a future captain, I think Potts already. You see him; he's almost dictating play at times, and pointing for people to move it. I absolutely think Potts has got leadership skills there.
He's got the maturity.
I don't think he's ready to be captain
No.
But as a future captain, I'm all on board with that. I think he's got real potential, and perhaps you're right about Fernandez. But perhaps he's a potential future captain. But I don't think you can give him the armband just yet.
No.
Well, he's sort of finding his feet still, isn't he?
Yeah, of course he is. I think I say this in jest in certain respects, but if you think about it, the one person that could have possibly been captain and it would have calmed him down a little bit, and that was Alvarez.
Yeah, now see, here's the thing with Alvarez as well. So I just said about Tadibo. Now, there's another player who was reportedly angling for a move, wanted to go to Manchester United, wanted to get out of West Ham. He's fell out with 3 managers. So it's okay going, yeah, we want someone with a bit of steel, but part of being a captain is the responsibility of it, right? And if someone who behaves like that can't get on with managers, really the leader that you want on the pitch, and maybe it is, right? And people in the chat might go, yeah, absolutely, that's the guy we want. But I'm not sure if it is. But that's just my opinion, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, as you know, we've all got that. I mean, it's sometimes you find it something like that can actually calm the person down because suddenly
maybe
now,
you're right.
They've now got this responsibility, and they're not afraid to turn around and say to the manager, like, I'll get your formation, your choice there, but I don't think that's right. And he possibly could have been one of those to do that, but unfortunately, we know he's not there. And if you go through to the squad at the moment, I suppose, even he's not getting proper game time. The only other one on that, and it's a long shot, and it's a curveball. Give it to Callum Wilson. If you want to, just be a little bit different, get Bowen to being how he used to be.
Here's the thing with Alvarez as well, right? If we say, so Alvarez is going to be captain, so he plays, right? He's here and he plays. Who comes out the team? And my suspicion is Freddie Potts. And if I'm honest, I think I would rather see Freddie Potts continue to develop his game and continue playing for West Ham than have Alvarez come back and be a captain and him lose his place in the team. And what I saw of Magassa on Sunday, because he hasn't had much minutes, right?
No,
he's only young. I think there's a potential player in there. I saw some bits I quite liked. I think he's going to make mistakes and errors, and I think Potts is going to make mistakes and errors. And I think if we're going to have a midfield that's going to be made up of a Potts, Magassa, Fernandez, it's quite a young midfield, and I think we've got to expect that in certain games they're going to make mistakes, and in certain times it's going to cost us games. And we're just going to, if we want to see a young midfield and developing players like that, then we have to wear that sometimes. We can't go off the handle all the time.
Yeah, it's an awkward one. I mean, the obvious choice at the moment, because of obviously the way the temperament is if Alvarez was there, you just drop Paqueta. not being funny, you got to think, even previous to the suspension, we didn't exactly miss him, did we? And he didn't
Well,
do
I think
himself
the
any
thing is,
favours when he came in on Sunday. He didn't do himself any favours whatsoever.
I think the thing is for Paqueta is, since he's been here, if we're honest with ourselves, he's blown hot and cold.
Mm.
And we've had periods where he's just like the Brazilian Magnifico that we think he is. And then we've had lots of periods in between where he hasn't done a lot. And he lets us down. He lets us down by throwing himself on the floor looking for free kicks that ain't free kicks. He lets us down by picking up bookings and having to serve suspensions, etc., etc. And sometimes he plays his teammates into trouble.
Mm.
Other times, like on Sunday, in my opinion, he slows the game down too much when we're
Yeah.
looking to move the ball much more quickly. So he is an asset in my view, but I'm not sure he's the be all and end all that perhaps has been laid on his shoulder at times.
Yeah, he's definitely not that. Yeah,
Colin
Collins.
says, I think Paqueta deliberately got himself sent off. I don't want to see him in the West Ham shirt again. I think there's quite a lot of sentiment like that going around. I'm not sure, though, after me saying how effective is he and he blows hot and cold, if we can afford to just ditch him and say freeze him out, don't use him because of that. Because I don't think we're in that luxury position. I think he still is important to us, but not without his flaws.
Which is the main concern at the moment for me, is that at least with Fernandez and that he's kind of filling in his boots and he's kind of starting to look a bit more of a potential candidate to actually replace him.
I think this is Leslie might be referring to Paqueta here. He says,
Yep.
player for sale, luxury player who performs 6-7 games a season, selfish, overrated, flamboyant poser, could be perfect for Man United. The thing is, if he's angling to get out and he wants to move, I don't think he wants to stay in the Premier League. If you look at the statement he's put out about the federation and how he feels, he's obviously quite bitter in that respect. So.
Oh, yeah.
Is he going to go to Villa, who wanted him before, or a Man United, or a Man City? Does anyone in the Premier League want him? I don't know. What are they going to pay for him? So I think if he's likely to go, he probably wants to go back to Brazil, doesn't he?
There was
And
talk
if
for
he
that, wasn't
does, what we're going to do? Get 20 million quid for it?
Well, that'll be the pattern, mate. Because you think most of the players we have sold on and that we've done a heavy loss on all of them so far.
Wajim, thanks for joining us, buddy.
Big up, Wasim.
Yeah, it's a tough one, Paqueta. Well, I'm hoping he's suspended now, right? I haven't got high hopes for the game on Thursday night. I think in part because I'm a little bit worried about Nuno. I'm a little bit worried, does he go to three at the back and then try and play with wing backs that actually become a full-on five at the back and we drop deeper, deeper and deeper like we did before, invite them on. I think we just lose the game from there. But if he tries to take Man United on and plays a midfield of Magassa, Potts and Fernandez, for example, whoever he plays as a front three, we might come on and talk about what we might think happen on Thursday night later on. And we put in a really good performance, go up there and win. Might be that Paqueta is going to struggle to get back into that side anyway, right? On merit. But if we go out there and fold, we know Nuno likes him because he's spent like 3 weeks blowing smoke up his arse every chance he gets. Word says he's in two minds about Paqueta. I feel for him if he's really suffering mentally and emotionally. Maybe he needs a break from playing. And, you have to be pretty hard to say, it's easy to say 150 grand a week, just get on with it and one thing or another. But as we often say, people are human beings and he has had, whatever we think of it, a cloud over him. It must have affected him. He was potentially on the verge of losing his livelihood, not being able to play football anymore. That's got to have an effect on you. So I'm not completely cold about it, but I just think his reaction after what he did, I just think he should have a bit more contrition. I think he should be, a bit more apologetic about it.
Yeah.
Personally.
The thing is, on that one though, Jeff, really, that's when you said that's when your captain should be stepping in and pulling him away.
And I didn't realise words went on to say, he says, that of all days, I want to give him a hard slap. Don't bring your personal life onto the pitch. So, yeah, there's both sides of it there. And I kind of agree with both of those sentiments. Sorry to interrupt you, Tony. Carry on, mate.
That's fine. Yeah, I'll say as a captain, that's when you should be stepping in and pulling your player away to avoid that. So you keep the player on the pitch. But, for him not to kind of really interject too much on that, or even kind of like, getting by the scruff of the neck, said, right, hike you over here, cut it out. That's enough.
No, this is why you can understand the criticisms of Bowen and his captaincy and how he handles his captaincy and how he conducts himself. He's not the noble grab you by the scruff of the neck, walk you to the side of the pitch type character. But in that moment, that is exactly what we needed, right?
Absolutely.
We needed someone to get hold of him and stop him. And Bowen was stood next to him, not doing anything really.
Yeah, that's not a good sign of a captain, unfortunately.
No, and this is why I say, as much as I'm saying, okay, who take it off of him, who do we give it to? It's a genuine question because I don't think there's any real candidates out there. But I understand and mostly agree with all of the criticisms that are levelled at Bowen over his captaincy. What is lacking, I guess. We need a bit more from him. He's more try and take the game by the scruff of the neck captain rather than take someone else by the scruff of the neck.
Yeah.
And he's been struggling to take games by the scruff of the neck this season, really.
True.
Leslie says, I don't think any West Ham player has his heart, passion, commitment to match Billy. I mean, people like him are just like one of a kind, aren't they?
Most
I mean, there weren't too many Billy Bonds type characters around when Billy Bonds was about, was there?
Nah. He was different class. Yeah, that is.
Colin says, as you said earlier, he says, give it to Zebo, Mavro. I tell you one thing. Mavro's got mistakes in him and we berate him for that. But actually, out of all the names that have been suggested, I think he's probably might be the best candidate for what we actually need.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that he'd be a great captain, but he might give us a bit more. He might give us a bit more grab older people, calm them down type thing. I don't know if he's got it in him. Potts as vice captain, Leslie says. I think it's a bit too early for him. I think the pressure that would come onto Potts half a dozen games in with any role like that, I think it'd be unfair on him. I think we should just be grateful that Freddie Potts is getting game time and is doing as well as he is and just let him flourish. Colin says, you need a tough man to be captain. Yeah, I agree.
He says.
And Leslie says, don't think there's a player fit to be have the armband. And it's kind of, it's where I'm at. I don't see that obvious candidate to take over.
No.
Iron Disciple says, good evening, Iron. One word for me, Guilherme. Okay, in what context is that? I don't know. Maybe the comments further down will explain that. Do you mean for him to play or as captain? Goes on to say, Bowen was weak. Paquette apparently says he's staying, according to Nuno. Also got to cut Nuno some slack on the fact he can navigate pressers. How many times can you be asked about another team? Yeah. fair comment there. The only thing I was a little bit disappointed. I'd be interested to see what you think about this. I was a bit disappointed after the game. I saw a match of the day his interview when asked about Paqueta, and he said, "Oh well, I have to see what Lucas says and see what was behind it, and one thing another." And I just think to myself, I don't know. I would have much preferred what I imagine a Eddie Howe reaction might be, just to say he let us down. It's not good enough. I'll be having a word with him.
Mm.
But what are your views on that, Tony?
I think you know when you look at it, as you said, if he's a fan of Paqueta, that's kind of protecting the player, which you can understand, especially if there is something underlying that we don't know. But I think, like everything else, you're the manager. You're supposed to set the example to the players to just send a message out to kind of say that it's me that's in charge. And if you're not pulling your weight, then and it's words to those kind of things. You can sugarcoat it in certain respects,
Yeah,
but not to the kind of level he's doing there. And I think that's where the problem. And this is, I mean, look, we know Nuno is a good manager. There's two ways about that. I mean, the Bournemouth game for me is the one I just still can't understand why he went defensive in the second half like he did. 2-0 in this day and age is not a given. So he kind of lets himself down in that respect.
especially against Bournemouth, right?
Yeah.
They're the team that's going to come at you. They're not going to stop. They're not going to. What you need to do against them is get the third goal, right?
Absolutely.
And then you probably have finished the game off.
He was crying out for that.
When you do what he did, we just took away. Not only did just dropped it, he took away any threat that we had whatsoever.
Mm.
It seemed incredible to me that he did that.
Yeah, especially when I say Wilson being taken off so early in the game, and that there was no. I mean, the bloke was living his life at that point.
Oh, the guy's on a hat trick at his former club, and he's took off 7 minutes into the second half or something.
Yeah, I just didn't get that.
I don't get it either. And then Souček comes on, and I don't think he's a. I know we've brought him on, and he's done a job there, see games out and all that, and I think he can do a job. But I don't think he's not a natural striker. He ain't got the movement of a Wilson, and he didn't try to, because what he did, they dropped him deeper. So actually, we had nobody. He couldn't even pump it up to Souček, win the fucking header, and get some relief. Like there was nothing.
Yeah.
But that was on Nuno. He did that. He created that, right?
Definitely, most definitely. It was one of those. I think that was there was no need to bring Souček into that game at that point, because
at that point, and that's the whole point, isn't it? Bringing Souček into the game on 70 minutes or 75 minutes or whatever it might be. I mean, we'd probably all be on board with that. But at that stage, and then falling deeper and deeper and inviting Bournemouth at home.
Well, the stats don't lie, Jeff. When you look at it, 25 shots compared to our 2, that just tells you they literally kind of nearly knocked the door off the hinges, basically.
Yeah, really, really worrying. And that Igor was a worry. I know Kilman got absolute pelters for that, rightly so. But I think Igor got overlooked in that, because I thought he was dreadful. He ball sailing over his head. He failed on interceptions. He looked like a fish out of water for me. And I'm worried that he goes to free at the back on.
The Man U game.
On the Man U game, yeah.
Good shout. This one.
Colin says he'd like to see Conte given some game time, for I know other teams are watching him. I mean, he's supposed to be doing very, very well in the under-21s, isn't he? And that doesn't necessarily equate to slot into the first team, but I think it'd be nice to see him around on the bench. I mean, have we still got the likes of Rodriguez and that knocking around on the bench? And if we have, come on, he's not going to play. Bin him off and get Kante on there, and maybe give him a few minutes here and there.
Yeah, I think because Kante, he is in the under-21s. He's definitely ripping up trees at the moment, and he looks an exceptional player.
Yeah.
So give him some game time, even if it's like coming as a sub, etc. A league game, cup game. Put him in, give him a shout in there. Let's see what the kid can do. Can he actually adapt? I think he will do. He seems a beast, for his age. So I think he'll definitely slot in with no worries whatsoever.
I mean, he could be the next sort of Anana type character, couldn't he?
Definitely.
Iron Disciple says, Nuno is a worry. This hoofball is nuts. It's mental when the best little bit of play we had was when we were down to 10 men. That says something. I actually don't think we looked any worse, actually, when we were down to 10. I think that's fair comment. I think when it's a blow, and you think, fucking hell, he's done that, and we're down to 10 men, and we're a goal down. But we didn't look any worse for it. We're just handicapped by being a player down. And I think that's as much on Liverpool, because I didn't think Liverpool were very good.
Well, you can understand why Liverpool, what they lost, was it 6, 7 games on the bounce?
It's what made me so mad, because I just don't think they really deserved to win.
No, and it comes down to the same old thing, doesn't it? It's typical West Ham. You know, you got a team that's kind of struggling to actually kind of get a league win, and they come to us and we gift them. And that's the annoying part.
Oh yeah, Isak ain't scored, so have a goal. You ain't won. You ain't won in how many fucking games? Are you getting beat by here? Come and fucking beat us. It's like a charity case. Leslie says Paqueta wants to move to Brazil and will continue to cause problems, so we accept what Brazilian clubs can afford. Kind of what I was saying, you know.
Yeah.
Well, we'd be lucky to get 20 million quid for him. And Colin goes on to say, here is something I know. Neymar may be a signing in January on a 6-month with an option of an extra year. Well, I did see Nick on Claret and Booze did a video about Neymar and Kaya George being targets in January. And there may well be something in it. I honestly don't know. All I'm going to say is there's been transfer speculation about this, that, and that one since fucking October, right? And we are getting closer to the window now, and there may well be something in it, but there's going to be the list's going to be a lot longer of targets and links before we actually sign anyone, because we've been here before. That's the other thing. You know, we've been here before. I'm just not falling for it. Tell you what, show me him in a shirt, and I'll believe he's here, and I'll believe he's coming. And that not even just Neymar, anyone. And until then, I'll take it all with a pinch of salt.
Yeah.
Evening, Brendan. Good to see you in, mate. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Bowen was looking confused when Paqueta. I mean, we kind of spoke about it quite a lot. I mean, he really should have stepped in. He should have done better. Tog says, I have not enjoyed the absolute meltdown on Paqueta. What he did was foolish, and in the heat of the moment, to use the term disgusting when talking about it is, ironically, disgusting. Yeah, I mean, I was really annoyed with Paqueta. I am still annoyed with Paqueta. Like I say, the cynic in me said, you know, he didn't want to be overshadowed on the day and check the betting patterns and all that. But I don't really mean it. It's just frustration bursting out of me. And again, all the never see him in the shirt again and all that, as I said earlier, I just don't think we can afford, and we're not in a position to. He's got undoubted quality. He just doesn't show it often enough he doesn't do enough with it for us. And we need the good Paqueta.
Yeah.
And we need him quick.
I mean, there's a comment that Leslie's made, and you're going to come to it in that, and it's a valid point. So I'll wait until you get to that question.
So Ian says, I'm a Paqueta fan, but he wasn't on it.
Yeah.
And we need Alvarez back. He wasn't on it. Bowen wasn't on it against Liverpool either. Diouf had a poor game. I thought, and I'm not. I know people have been getting on his back. He can't defend, and he made a couple of defensive mistakes. He did good things in the game. He wasn't awful, but what we're relying on when he gets down there for that delivery to come in, he didn't really do that on Sunday. And hopefully on Thursday, he will.
Yeah.
And Wilson will get on the end of a couple, or Souček will get on the end of a couple, and we'll go there and win. But in that game he didn't, and I thought he had a poor game. And Wan-Bissaka, he was industrious. He made a couple of mistakes as well, and he got down the right hand side, but his delivery from that side was poor as well.
Yeah,
So this is why we didn't end up really with any shots on goal. We tried to make some openings at times, especially first half, but we just couldn't seem to carve anything out. And against Liverpool defence that's a bit vulnerable at the moment, that's really, really disappointing.
yeah. Didn't take advantage of it at all when we should have
No,
done. But I don't know if you've noticed now, this has been a pattern that's been happening over the last 6 games, I'd say, with the delivery into the area where you want to, either Wilson, Ford, Krug, Souček, for instance. It's been non-effective. It always either goes to the edge of the 18-yard box or it gets cleared by the big defenders, and we just don't compete with them. That's the worst part for me.
yeah. And
Yeah,
I am just clarifying his comment earlier from Guilherme to play more, and he says he thinks he demonstrated Guilherme is up for it when played correctly. I think he did all right when he came on, Guilherme, actually, and there's been a couple of times where I think he's looked a little bit lightweight. I'm not sure he's quite across his defensive duties and positionally where he needs to be in the defensive phase of the game. But he's certainly explosive, and he impacted the game a little bit on Sunday when he came on, and he could have impacted more. He could have had more impact. He could have maybe got himself a goal or an assist. It didn't quite come off. And there's the other bit, which also is true of Somerville. Really, it's that final ball, that little bit of end product.
Yeah.
But again, he's young and he's not had many minutes, and he's just getting in the team. You've got to give him a chance. But I do think he deserves a few more minutes. And with Somerville seemingly being unavailable now for a few weeks, I think he's got a chance that he might actually get a few more minutes, because KWP there is not the answer, is it?
No, not especially when you've got left-handed players there. You should be playing them,
Yeah.
especially like Guillaume. He does need more, game time, because it's not his fault, the inconsistency. I mean, but then again, it comes down to that thing when he first came here, and he wasn't even getting a look in. You had to question.
Yeah. He was properly frozen out then, wasn't he?
Yeah, and it's a case of why. What's this kid done? Is he saying he said? Is it, they're one minute they're saying it's the language barrier, and I don't know. There was something that wasn't being said, but at least Nuno, he is trying to give him a bit of game time, but it needs to be a bit more consistent.
Yeah. Is this what you were referring to, Tony? Let me read this. Question: Is Paqueta's attitude and performances down to getting betting saga or missing out on his move to Man City? I've no idea. I don't doubt that the betting thing hanging over him must have had an impact on him. I do think to a degree that perhaps as fans and a fan base, we also might have made that an excuse for some of the performances he put in. If we take him, like, in his whole time at West Ham, he's kind of been a little bit in and out. Anyway, like I said, you'll get that there's the Brazilian Magnifico, and then you'll get Paqueta makes me pull my hair out. So I think that's a little bit around what Paqueta's game is. I don't think he's consistent, and I don't know if his attitude is down to missing his move to Man City. But if we look at where we are with Paqueta now, I mean, I would think most of us, or perhaps that's not true. I can't speak for most of us, but me personally, on reflection, I might say now, wish we'd just got the 85 million and he'd gone to City. But maybe that's the benefit of hindsight and the performance he's given of late. What's your opinion on it, Tony?
I think this question is a great question, because it does open up quite a fair bit on this player. Because when you think, the betting scandal thing must have had some kind of effect on him, because not only just for him, but of course it's his family and friends involved in this as well. So there's obviously the pressure from that going on there. You've got the FA breathing down his neck. There was a potential move to City, and obviously the betting scandal literally kiboshed that in an instant. And there was a point where City was going to hang on for a little while, and then they completely said, "Okay, we revoke what we're saying on that." So that all it would have had his definitely affected the player as well, because you've got to think, like always. I mean, one thing I've always said to my players, always trying to look to play to the highest level possible. So for him, playing for City at that time would have been the highest level possible.
Yeah, I agree.
So being kicked back like he has been done, and you could say yes, partially a little bit on him, but it's also the fact of the FA, after we found out afterwards, didn't have nothing on it in the first place. You've got to think, like you said, he's human. He's a human being at the end of the day, and also I think you could feel quite bitter that you've earned to kind of be looked at by a club like them on merit at that point, at that stage, and suddenly it's like the rug's just been pulled under your feet.
Yeah,
I mean, you see it with apprentice players, Jeff. And they get into clubs like West Ham or whatever, pro clubs. Think they've made it, sit on their laurels, and then before you know it, they're out. And then they come to play, elsewhere, and you see every now and then that moment of brilliance. But as soon as they've turned it on, they switch it off again, because it's a case of, well, I got kicked back, so that's it, it's done. But there's only the odd one or two that really kind of say, you know what, I'm going to prove a point, not just for them, but also to myself, that I can be that player. I can play to the highest level. But there's, it comes down to the attitude as well. So when you look at it, this is a great question by Leslie. So I think there's a lot in that that could obviously affect him. And look, we know the club was, supported him, and they're saying they're still going to support him if there is a mental health issues and stuff like that, which is great to see and hear, because you don't always get to hear them side of things. But at the same point, the player himself, has got to say something.
Yeah, I think you were right what you're saying about some players, they want to go, right, I'll prove a point. But I think that's what we'd like Paqueta to do, isn't it? Say, I missed out on my move, I'm going to show. But it's gone the other way for him, hasn't it? He's become probably more inconsistent.
Yeah.
Perhaps more temperamental, and perhaps that is to do with either or, a combination of both of those things.
Yeah, definitely agree on that. But I think, like you said, if you kind of realise that you can still be that player, and you want to move, then you up the ante. You don't go the other way around it.
He's undoubtedly got the quality, hasn't he, Tony?
Yeah. There's no two ways about that.
It's just putting it out there every week, and I don't think he does, but I don't think he ever has, and I think that's a fair comment. But others may disagree with me and say, "Oh no, this season he was there, he was brilliant every game." But I don't think he has been brilliant every game for us ever. I think he's probably had 4 or 5 games where he might have put a little run together, and that's why we think he's a world beater, and then he starts doing stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Andy Shelby says, I hope we get a Traore and a Kayo. Okay. If we get a Traore, does that impact Guilherme's chances? For example, if we've got Somerville, Guilherme, Traore, Bowen, does Guilherme get less chances if a Traore comes?
There is that possibility.
I think possibly he does. Yeah. I think it's a bit like the Alvarez scenario. If Alvarez comes in, does that impact Potts' appearances? And I think quite possibly it does. And I think if we get a Traore, then I think that is likely to curtail Guilherme's minutes. That doesn't mean that Traore, for example, wouldn't come in and do a job for us. He's a Nuno player, isn't he? So Nuno will love him. So That's fine, but he's definitely getting in front of Guilherme on the basis of that, isn't he?
Yeah. Which is the unfortunate part about it, really, in that respect. So there is a kind of,
Double-edged sword, isn't it?
absolutely, yeah.
Another worry for me is Nuno Ball is injury ball. Well, I don't know. I don't know what's. Does anyone actually know what's wrong with Somerville?
Don't know, actually.
Colin says that what he heard about Neymar, he heard from a friend at the club. That sound, Colin. Like I say, I've seen Nick do a video on it with his agent friend and one thing another. So I'm not rubbishing it. I'm just saying because we go through this even months away from when the transfer window was actually open. I just kind of switch off to it now a little bit. And there's so many names put out there that we're on the verge of. There's so many could have had, should have had, was put on a plate for us, but we didn't get.
Yeah.
I almost can't be bothered with it until I know it's really true.
So I'm just looking here at the moment. They're saying about Somerville is still to be expected without him for Thursday's night game. They reckon he's out for, still next 2 outings coming up. He could be out for them. And Ollie Scholes, who broke his collarbone, he's obviously progressing well on the road to recovery and return to elements of training at Rush Green. So that's good to see it, with that kid. But yeah, Somerville's still out for a couple of more games, by the looks of it. It's a knock.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they said it was a minor knock, and then he's missed 2 games, and he's not going to be available. So he's definitely missing 3. Do you think he's back for Sunday? If not, that's like 4.
Yeah, but if you've got legs like sparrow legs, Jeff, that knock on that is like, you broke your leg, didn't you?
But he didn't seem to get injured. I don't know what his injury record was at Leeds, but it seemed to be always available for Leeds.
But that's typical, though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. You're right there.
That's another story, another stream that is, mate.
This is an interesting question because we've been away and I just got back, popped into my local, and there's a fellow hammer in there, and I was chatting about this. Actually, it was on the back of Paqueta, and I was saying, what happens if the FA upgrade his card to a red and he has to serve a free match ban? But I don't think that's going to happen now. But, would you see him applauding after his red card and then reluctant to leave the pitch and then apparently having words with the fourth official and one thing or another? You think he's doing himself less and less favours here all of the time. But it looks like it's just going to be a one-match ban. So after Thursday, he will be available. Whether he plays or not, obviously, down to Nuno. But to Colin's question, he says, how many points do you see us picking up from Man United, Brighton, Villa and Man City? I believe we at least need to get 5 points, but I am not sure whether we will pick up any points. But you just never know. And this is what I was saying after the Liverpool game on Sunday, and I was chatting to my fellow hammer in the pub last night, and I said, we got Man United away on Thursday. And I just, at this moment in time, can't see us getting anything from it. But it'd be very West Ham for us to go up there and win, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But, I could easily see us getting beat there. I don't expect us to get anything out of it. Brighton away is really tough, right? I can see us not getting any points there. Then leading into that, after the run of 3 defeats in a row, Villa at home, they can easily turn us over, right? And then we're away to Man City. Like, we seriously could end up with 0 points out of all of that. I just think we will pick up some points.
I think the Brighton game we might do.
I can see a maximum of 3 or 4 if I'm honest.
Yeah. I mean, the Man United game, I'll be surprised if we get a draw in that. We've done pretty well considering how their season's going. Brighton, again, they're easy to pick off. We could, if we've got our mindset, we could get something out of that. If not a draw, Aston Villa, unfortunately, have started to kind of find form.
Yeah.
And City, who at the moment are winning 5-2 against Fulham. Yeah. you know, do we get anything out of that? I mean,
Well, I mean, Man United at the moment worry me. Or perhaps it's West Ham that worries me, but I just look at Mbermo, Cunha, and Fernandez, and I think, can we contain them? And Xerxes seems to have suddenly found a bit of form, popped up with a couple of
yeah,
goals for them, and I'm not sure we can keep them out. And looking at what we've been, our creativity, certainly in the last game, are we going to lay a glove on them? And if we go there and approach the game like try and defend and not get beat for 90 minutes, I don't see us getting anything out of it.
mm,
But who knows? Maybe once our backs are up against the wall and we've got to go for it a little bit more, maybe we get different outcomes. But if we try and set ourselves up for a draw to contain teams, which we clearly can't do,
yeah,
because even our best partnership, which seemingly is Mavro before he was injured, was probably our best centre back, and it's a scary thought to say that he was our best centre back, but he was. But at that
yeah,
time, Todibo was looking really ropey, right? And yet Todibo now actually looks like he might be a bit of a player. Kilman looks like a liability, though. Igor don't look too clever to me.
no,
So we're in real trouble there.
yeah. I mean, not being funny, if you play devil's advocate in there, and if you want someone to kind of win airily, then drop. If Kilman's going to be dropped like he is, then put bloody Suchik there. At least he can head a ball.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really like the idea of Suchek at centre half, but in light of if we're worried about Kilman and Igor, and he desperately wants to play three at the back, I think if he did it, I think as much as I might not like the idea of it, I think I might just shrug my shoulders and say I can see why you've chosen to do that, why you might play him there. I just want to touch on this because Leslie says, "Cheers, Brendan. Yes, the daughter is recovering well, thank
It's good
you."
to hear.
So I didn't know that your daughter has had an op or been unwell or whatever it is. So really good news that she's recovering, and
Definitely.
all the best to her, Leslie.
100%.
So Iron says, as much as Mav didn't get a great game in, he was trying his best this game, and when they did the claps for Bonzo, he was the most emotional. Like Mav, thinks he's going to land one on Man United. I tend to agree with that. I don't think he had a dreadful game against Liverpool. He was just highlighted by a couple of mistakes and perhaps a missed opportunity at the other end. But he's been out a couple of months, right?
Yeah.
He's just back from injury, thrown straight into it. And I agree he was trying his best. I actually think he tries his best every time he's on the pitch. I don't think with Mavropanos it's for the want of trying, for the lack of effort. I think he makes poor decisions sometimes, and he definitely makes mistakes. But he doesn't do anything on purpose, Mavro. He definitely gives it his all.
Yeah. I mean, there was a point when you say, there's a liability in when he's going to go in for a challenge. But I think he, as you said, he does try his best. You can see the intentions there. Sometimes from head to foot, the brainwave doesn't always get there straight away, but nevertheless. So Jeff Leslie just put the comment about his daughter. There's the last comment. You want to bring that one up?
Let me just star Irons, and I'll scroll back down there to.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously you've put it in the chat, so I'll read it out. So Leslie says it's a cancer, unfortunately, but chemo has hopefully beat it. Let's hope so, yeah. Leslie. All the best, mate, to you and your daughter, and I hope she makes a full recovery, mate.
Totally agree on that. Let's hope so, mate. And well done for supporting and to make sure she gets through it. I mean, that's the best thing, isn't it? Seeing that, and let's hope that chemo does kill it off.
Yeah, let's hope so.
That's what we want.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to try and get myself back into where I was in the chat. I think it's just down here. Okay. Ian says, Wilson is a big part of our hope as well. He's obviously beyond more than a half. This is the thing with Wilson. I mean, I wasn't that delighted when he signed. I thought it was a Sullivan pick. That's not the only reason I wasn't that keen on it. I wasn't that keen on it because I think he's taken the piss out of our football club on more than one occasion. I think he's knocked us back when we really should have signed him when he was younger a couple of times.
Yeah.
So, and he's old and injury prone. So for all of those reasons, I was very anti-Wilson. But if you look at the impact he's made on our team, and if you look at the alternatives that we have to him, he is a big hope, really. It shows it's a little bit like going Mavro's our best centre back, and then saying we're pinning our hopes on Wilson, right?
Yeah.
But he's another one. What I've seen of him, you can't question his commitment, and he's definitely trying for the cause. And he's popped up with a few goals this season. And he's definitely worth more than a half. I never understood that sort of almost half-time substitution the other week was crazy. He played 77 minutes, was it, on Sunday? We've got a game on Thursday and a game on Sunday. I'm certainly not an advocate. I don't think Callum Wilson can play 90 minutes every week, and I certainly don't think he can play 3 lots of 90 minutes in 8 days. But I absolutely think he's got an hour to 70 minutes, 75 minutes in him, and we should use him like that. And he's our only real
threat,
proper goal scoring threat is in a striker capacity.
Agree on that.
And Leslie says Colin fears we may get 0 points from the next 4 games. I share that fear as well a little bit, but I think we probably will pick some points up, but we could easily get none, and we would be really bang in trouble. Doug says Somerville was Cornet reincarnated, unfortunately. I mean, let's hope not. But oh yeah, it's a worry, isn't it? Because there's one thing about Somerville, and if I think Somerville plays on Sunday, we offer a very different threat, because you look what Liverpool did. They just shut Bowen down. You take away West Ham's threat, basically. And Man United are just going to have to do that on Thursday probably, and take away our threat. And then when Somerville's in that team, he makes a difference. He does carry the ball. He's got pace. He makes defenders worry. They're chasing him back, or they're running backwards like shit. What's he going to do? We already touched on his end product as yet hasn't really been there, but he definitely can bring an impact to the game. And Leslie's asking Colin how his friend that he looks after for, and hope he's okay. And I echo that as well. I hope you're okay, and I hope your fellow you look after's doing well as well. Make West Ham great again. Popped in to say Paqueta out. Iron Disciple says Neymar was a name. That's right. I may be mixed up on the other prospect. Could have the names mixed up. Okay, so you meant Neymar and George rather than Traore. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how would Neymar fit into the Premier League. He's a little bit old now, isn't he? Would the pace and physicality catch him out, or would his quality shine through? And I actually don't know. I don't know. But if it was a 6 month deal and he does well and there's an option for a year or anything, I think I'm probably falling down on the what have we got to lose side of the argument rather than, nah, I don't want him. Or I think he'd be brilliant. Either I know, but I just think, well, we ain't got nothing to lose. Give him a go.
Downside of that, though, is when you've got a player like that, what's his wage going to be like? What's he going to ask for? Because obviously, from where he's been, is he want to? Does he want to come to a club like us for one? Anyway, I mean, yes, it's going to probably be his easiest paycheck going. I mean, he only plays so many games, but on the other hand, is it one of those that could lift Paqueta up as well?
Well, I mean, I kind of agree with you on the point you're making, but I'll go back to if it's for 6 months, I kind of wear it. If he comes in and 6 months and his creativity turns us around and gets us the points we need to stay up.
Oh, he ain't going to look that, are you? That's for sure.
You know, I'll take it, but I just don't know. I honestly don't know if he's genuinely going to offer that or not. But yeah, I guess I'd say short term, worth a punt. Tog says, if Paqueta leaves and Neymar comes in, one thing will not change is the amount of time they are on the ground. Well, I think that's very true. There's no arguing with that. They both like to throw themselves around a little bit. And very well, yeah. This is a worrying point, really. Is AFCON's coming soon? GIF and AWB, they will be a big loss. They will. KWP could do a job at right back or left back, I think. Will Scarles be back in time? Will he be fit enough and match ready? And what other option do we have? Or are we going to see Kilman at left back or something like that? Because the options are getting a bit thin, aren't they? When they both go.
Well, I suppose that's where that three at the back comes into it. Then you ain't got to worry too much about that sort of things. You just got to make sure your midfield does the job to kind of help them three at the back more than everything else.
Good point from Togs here, actually, obviously referring to my comments about Wilson when he says, remember when we thought Zuma couldn't play 2 to 3 games per week, but he rolled out every game. And you know, listen, we were saying he's knackered, his knees are gone, look, he can hardly walk, and one thing or another. And as Dogs say there, he turned out every week. And I think we could even say we miss him.
Yeah, there is that. Yeah, strangely enough.
I mean, I'm not sure he could still be playing for us, but we definitely haven't replaced him, have we?
No, that's
missed,
true. It's a good chat because when you know, I think the one thing you see when Wilson joined us, he was in the gym working hard to kind of get himself fit.
Let's just see that Leslie says missing a lot of comments. Are they on the other stream? I'm not sure. I've displayed the comments I've got. So have you were streaming this, Tony? Have you got comments on your?
No, it's not because I didn't have the option for a multi-stream. But for some reason, I can see there's another screen next to me. For some reason. I mean, there's a little kind of small screen and the one we're on at the moment. Let me just see.
Oh, this is that dual thing that when I came in here. I haven't been on for weeks. It's a new thing.
Oh, is that what it is it?
Yeah, so I'll apologise for that, guys, if I'm not showing them. I can't actually see them. So otherwise I would. It's probably missing out half the conversation. Sorry, apologies, guys. I'll see if I can work that out for next week. Word says, away from the hammers for a second, I did enjoy Spud's keeper Vicario's sideline clearance. That was brilliant. I mean, what a finish. What a finish from Wilson. But what sort of madness was that? It's the sort of thing you'd expect from Areola, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, it was crazy. I mean, why does he not just punch it out for a throw-in and get back in his goal? Try and play the ball up the line, get caught out like that. Wilson's thing. I mean, I know he's only got to hit the target and all the rest of it, But he did it beautifully, didn't he?
No, I give him credit for that.
Tog says, as we are away, I am looking after the local blacksmith's dog. When I got him home, he made a bolt for the door. Oh, brilliant, Tugs. Brilliant. Colin says, thanks for asking about my friend, guys. Not doing bad, but I'm having some long nights. Was up until 5 a.m. this morning.
Oh, bloody hell, man.
Sorry to hear that, Colin. Hope you better get a better night's rest this evening.
Definitely.
And Tog says, I am showing chats from both streams, so I haven't skipped over any. I've tried to display them all, so I'm not sure where they've gone if I haven't showed them. So words is saying some comments are in a different streams, but all the comments have been read. Okay, cool. So I have covered them all. That's good. So anyway, we've kind of talked about quite a lot of things, including the Man United game, but we haven't really talked about team selection and what we think. Obviously, Pack's missing, Somerville's missing. So what do we think he's going to do on Thursday night? Have you got any thoughts on that, Tony? What the team might be, or what team you'd like to see?
I think the main change is hopefully Guilherme then gets his chance if there's because then you can play Juve at the back, miss out Kilman for one, Mavro, Wan-Bissaka, and then from there your midfield area you've got Ashley Potts, you've got Fernandez in there. And maybe you said, excuse me, Magassi, you can put him in there as well. Let's try that out.
Yeah, I think he's got going forwards. I'm not saying he was that sparkling against Liverpool, and he can't take the shirt off him. I just think young player, not been used a lot. I thought he showed enough. I'm probably a bit different to most people because if I was picking a team, I probably wouldn't put Guilherme in the starting 11, and I think most people probably would. But I'd start Areola in goal. I think it's a given. I think he's got his flaws and his faults, but I just don't think we have a more viable option than him at the moment. So I'd start with him. I'd play Wan-Bissaka. Some people have suggested I think that might put KWP in there, but I'd put Wan-Bissaka in there against his former club, Old Trafford. I'd be expecting him to turn up and try and put on a show. I'd play Mav and Todibo across the centre. I'd actually play KWP at left back. And I'd play Potts, Magassa and Fernandez in the midfield. And then I'd have Juff, Wilson and Bowen. And I'd use Juff more as like a left winger.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd have Guilherme on the bench with a view to bringing him on and giving him minutes. I just wouldn't put him in the starting lineup. And obviously I'd have Souček on the bench ready to do whatever Souček does, right? If needs be. And I'm not even taking the piss out of Souček, right? I think there's a good role for him to play in this squad. And I think using him as an interim striker or to pack out the midfield or to make it a back five with him in it and see out games, I'm kind of okay with using him like that. Not for too long, not for 45 minutes, and we will sit in. But I kind of get it. If we are 2-0 up with 15 to play, 20 to play, and you're going to try and see the game out and shore it up, sure, let's use him. Let's use him like that. Or if we're a goal behind and we're trying to nick a goal and maybe we are actually pressing and getting a few corners and getting a few crosses, okay, let's get him on the pitch. Let him do Souček things in their box, right? So, yeah, I'm all aboard that, using him correctly, but just not for huge long periods of time and not in the middle of the park instead of Fernandez, for example.
Yeah.
Leslie says Somerville replaced by Callum Marshall. Um, there's one thing about Marshall when he hasn't had many chances, but whenever he has come on, he's definitely put himself about. He's young, he's got legs, and he seems to use them and put himself about. I don't think that's going to happen, um, but I could see why Leslie might suggest it. He might get on the bench though.
I think he needs to get more. Again, and that's another one that needs to kind of get more experience.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I'm not sure if he's not going to be used, if we shouldn't get him alone somewhere where he's going to play. Much like Potts, went out. He wasn't going to play. He wasn't going to get around the first team. He's gone out on loan. I think it's done him the world of good. And now he's in the first team. Well, if Marshall's not going to get in the first team and he's not going to get round the squad and he's not going to get minutes, then I'd say get him out on loan and let him develop his game.
Yeah.
Now, if he is going to get around the squad and he's actually going to use him, even if it's just a few minutes here and coming off the bench, then I'm all for keeping him around the club. But if he's not, I think it might be more beneficial. Get him some senior football, and then maybe he comes back ready for next season.
Would be a better shout. Bulk him out a little bit as well.
Yeah, perhaps. Leslie also says he should start Fulkrug and Wilson on at 60 minutes. I'm just don't know what to make of Fulkrug. I'll be honest. I think he's a better player than he's showing at West Ham, and I suppose the stop-start with his injuries is not helping. But he doesn't look interested for me at the moment. And he certainly don't look that effective. He looks way off Wilson's effectiveness.
Pedestrian, probably is the word.
Yeah. I think Wilson offers. Again, I can't believe I'm saying this really, but I think Wilson offers. At the moment, at least, he's offering so much more. So I can't. If I'm picking the team, I can't take him out. I don't think.
Definitely agree.
Magassa, Potts, and Fernandez covering Paqueta. I would have that as a midfield three. I wouldn't even mind if you set up as a 4-1-4-1, especially if we're going to perhaps put Diouf and put Diouf and Bowen out wide and push. You could have Magassa or Potts as the holder, but I think Potts does a lovely job in there. He seems to link. He seems to drop in, want to receive the ball off of the centre halves. I really like the way he does all of that. So
old school, Jeff. He's old school. That's what I like about him.
He's good. So yeah, I would have that as my midfield three. Sounded like ZZ Top. Oh, yeah. Well, I was scratching my head now. I've seen your comment. He has legs and knows how to use them. Very good, dogs. Colin's team is Areola, Gif, Tadibo, Mavro, AWB, Magassa, Fernandez, Potts, Guilherme, Wilson, Bowen. Fair enough. I think lots of people will probably pick a team very, very similar to that.
Good choice of the subs as well, though, when you look at it, Jeff.
And the subs is Fab, KWP, Gilman, Conte, Urfi, Souček, Marshall, Igor. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see Conte. I haven't seen very much of him. I just know he's doing very well for the under-23s. And I'd like to see him around the first team and then maybe start getting a few little minutes here and there. Well, I'd much rather see him come on than Rodriguez. And actually, in all due respect to Irvin, I think I'd rather see Kante come on than Irvin. I think I know he's a bit of a cult hero. We had that little bit of cult status briefly. Actually, I thought the game at Chelsea that he played, he did very, very well in. Um,
Yeah.
but I
I
don't think
mean,
he does enough overall, and I'm not sure he's got enough quality. He should probably go to a championship side or up
I
to
think
Scotland,
I
work
think
his way
Scotland,
into that Scotland team.
yeah,
You know, I don't
I
think
think
he's going
that's
to do that at
where
West Ham.
he might be bound that way, kind of thing. But a couple of weeks back, a few of us, a couple of the guys in the chat as well, we was watching the under 21s, under 23s. He could play Liverpool, and Kante, and that was, yeah, he was immense in that game. So you can understand why, if people are starting to look at him and that, West Ham's got to kind of be a bit savvy of how they handle this one, because we can't be losing someone like him, that's for sure.
No, I'd like to say I haven't really seen him. I probably should tune in and watch a bit, but I'm not sure. When they're against opposition like that, I think it is sometimes easier for them to look better. But that's why, if he's doing so well, let's get him in around the team. Let's give him even 10 minutes here, 10
Mm.
minutes there. Let's have a little look. Put him on the big stage. See, does he look like he can cope with it? And then if he does, he can earn himself more minutes.
Yeah, agree on that.
Don't scroll up very well, this. Make West Ham great again says, a bit of a problem is we have no characters. We haven't replaced Dawson, Zuma, Cresswell, Bonner, etc. Even Antonio had something about him. Well,
Yeah.
this is the thing. We were having a conversation earlier about captains there. Dawson, Zuma, Cresswell, Bonner. All of them would be captain. If any of those were at the club now and we were saying, well, who could we give the armband to? Any one of those would just be the automatic candidate, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
I'm not including Antonio in that, by the way, but I understand what he's saying about he had something about him. He was a character for sure. He put himself about. But Dawson, Azuma, Cresswell, Bonner in this team, I wouldn't even be saying who do we give the armband to. Any one of them, no problem.
Yeah. I mean, it was quite interesting, because when you look at the say when I won that tour thing, it was quite interesting to see Nuno's approach onto the changing room, because his office, he said they can be used for a training room. Use it for whatever you want. I don't want to be in there. I want to be in the changing room with the players. And the other thing he's done, apparently, when he came in, the first thing he looks around at the dressing room, he says, "It's a bit drab and dire in here, isn't it? Need to make some changes of that." So there's a mural on the wall of all the players as kids to remind them, like, this is where that's how you were. And look where you are now.
This
Don't
is where you
forget.
are.
Don't forget. It's quite good to see that. It makes
He's
them kind
doing his
of
Ted Lasso motivational stuff.
basically, yeah.
But listen,
Yeah.
listen. I say it's tongue in cheek. I'm saying it as a joke, but actually, all this sort of stuff is important, right?
It does.
You're just sitting in a white painted, look like a surgery room. If you got things that prick you to, like you say, motivate you, push you forwards, makes a difference.
Yeah.
Word
Yeah.
says. Go on, sorry, mate. Carry on.
I was going to say, because I don't think Nuno's Mike Bassett, that's for sure. I don't think he falls in that category.
Word says, it's such a shame we're in a relegation battle. While we have so many youth players that deserve a chance, makes it much less likely they'll get game time. Yeah, I do think it's difficult. The thing is, the pressure in the Premier League to get results now, it's immense, isn't it? The pressure on managers.
Yeah.
Sometimes we say about, the fear factor, they're scared. But you can kind of see why the fear factor is there. Points are so precious and they're really quite difficult to come by.
Yeah.
Because even the poor teams in the league, if you don't apply yourself, it's not enough to say, we're a re-established Premier League team and we can just kind of stroll it back. We'll get over the line. No team's going to afford to do that because other teams will punish you because the level of the league is high.
Mm.
You can't give them an inch. And the worst team in the league at the moment, Wolves, can't win a game, but they can fucking beat us, right?
It is West
So,
Ham, right?
Make West Ham great again says relegation could be good for the youth. Clear out the fat cats. I think I don't think relegation would be great for the football club. I was talking to a couple of fans before the game, and there was a bit of that sentiment. Maybe we should go down, and you know. And I said, I don't know that being relegated is actually the cure that we need. I don't know that it will be a good thing for the football club. I think it will be a bit of a problem for the football club, really. Financially, we could find ourselves in real big trouble. But in terms of this comment, I actually think that could be good for the youth. Because we'll find ourselves in that financial squeeze, the pressure will be on whatever assets we've got, the Paquetas or whoever, they can get whatever they can get for.
Yeah.
Probably are going to have to turn to the Cantes and maybe Cummins or whoever's, coming through in the youth team there. We're going to have to use them in the championship. And might just be the opportunity they need. And, sometimes, I'm not suggesting we've got a Harry Kane anywhere, but you just look at the way Harry Kane undoubtedly had the quality there, right? But he wasn't getting his chance. And then injuries forced that. It's not going to be injuries that have forced it, but a relegation might force a similar situation where we've got to throw youngsters in and they can seize their opportunity. And Harry Kane did that. He never looked back. And this is what I hope Freddie Potts is doing now. He hasn't really had the opportunities, but he's got himself in that team now. And he doesn't look out of place. In fact, I think he looks like an established player a lot of the time.
He's got a maturity about him, Jeff.
Yeah, the way he conducts himself. I'm so impressed with him. And I hope he keeps doing it. And I think he's a future West Ham captain, to be honest with you. He's got that about him. Colin says, Golombekis, Fearon, and there's a few others. The future looked good for us. Yeah. Fearon's quite small, isn't he? But I saw him pre-season he played, didn't he?
Mm.
And he looked impressive. And the Golombekis, he's supposed to be a real prospect as well.
Yep.
So perhaps a little bit young to be thrown in at centre-back in the Premier League. But should we get relegated, then I'm pretty sure we will be looking at players like that and getting them into the team. Oh, Tog says Fulham had a goal and they lost 5-4.
Yeah,
they tried to come back, didn't
they? Yeah, Everton won 1-0.
Did they? I've got the Newcastle game on. It's 0-0.
Still 0-0, isn't it?
Yeah. I thought it might be an interesting game to watch, but it's hard to watch and chat and read comments anyway.
Don't seem like you're missing much of that game anyway.
No, it doesn't look like it, no. I watched a bit of the Bournemouth game earlier. So didn't Bournemouth score, though?
I don't know, it must have been ruled out because it's saying here.
Must have been ruled out, yeah. I thought Bournemouth scored.
Yeah. Yeah, 1-0. It stayed. Who got the goal?
Have you got much content coming up, Tony? Do you want to give your channel a plug here?
It's Hammers Football TV. As you know, obviously, with the job change at the moment, it has put a bit of a dent on the content I'm doing at the moment. I'm trying to do as much as when I get the opportunity, which has been very short and few and far between. A bit like yourself at the moment, Jeffrey, what's going on with yourself? But yeah, I'm kind of getting into a kind of routine with work now. Now starting to formulate when I can actually fit stuff in, and so I'm hoping to do a bit more coming up because obviously, it's been very short, put it that way.
Yeah, like my content has got. It's not that I churn loads of content out anyway, and we often have a break during internationals and stuff like that here on the Boleyn Lounge. But with the boat thing, and that's going to be ongoing. So I do apologise in advance if I miss a few weeks, but I will be about. I will be trying to bring you as much content as I can when I can, and I will try and do a show from the boat and see if the internet's stable enough to do it. And if it is, then it will be easier. But just before we wrap up, because I've reached the end of the comments now, and we've been going for over an hour and a half, so that's quite good for me. And have you got any predictions for Thursday night, Tony?
I'd like
and
to see
those of you in the chat, if you'd like to put your predictions in, I'll read them out before we go as well, of course.
I'd like to think our away form's a little bit better than it is at home, so I'd like to go with a 2-1 result for West Ham.
Oh, I really hope that you're right, Tony. I've got the fear about me at the moment, especially after last couple of games. So I think we might lose 2-0 again. Tog says thanks to you and to myself and to all of the chatters, and yeah, thanks to all of you in the chat. If you tune in at a later stage, please use the comment section, give us your thoughts. But for you in the live chat, thanks for joining us. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate your patience as well. And Tog says he fancies a point, by the way.
So, yeah, I'll have to go with that.
And
cheers, WP.
The show, so I'm glad you've enjoyed it. Togs, good to see you. Thanks for supporting us. Colin says, well, I'm saying we get a draw 2-2. Well, I tell you what, if we get a 2-2 draw, as long as it's not in the manner of Bournemouth, I think it'd be a pretty good result up there. It might even be an exciting game. So Leslie says, cheers, boys. Great show done by two good hosts. Glad to see you back. Oh, thanks for that, Leslie.
Thanks, Leslie.
There's plenty out there that do this so much better than I do. There's no doubt about that. But I do enjoy it, and I do enjoy having a chat with you and the guests that come on the panel. And hopefully I'll be able to do it on a regular basis and not miss too many weeks. But please just keep an eye out on your notification. If you haven't subscribed, please like and subscribe to the channel. Tick the notification bell, and at least then when we do shows, you'll know they're coming. Keep an eye out for any posts. If I don't do videos, I'll try and put a post in and keep you all a little bit in touch and updated. And on that note, really, we've got down to the bottom once again. I'm going to say goodnight for another 20 minutes, half hour. I'm going to say thanks to you for joining me, Tony. Much
most welcome. And thanks for the offer as always.
Oh, no, you're welcome. And let's hope that your prediction's right, not mine. And until next time, go on, you Irons.
Go on, you Irons.
1-0 to the Cockney boys, 1-0 to the Cockney boys, 1-0 to the Cockney boys, 1-0.